So you had a good day, a genuinely good one, and still, before the sun had even gone down, your mind had already found the one thing that was missing and quietly made that little gap the whole story of the day. You know that hum, the one that never really shouts, that just leans in close and whispers, "Not enough, not yet, not quite." You finally get the thing you'd been wanting, and within a week, it's already just furniture. Ordinary, invisible, sitting there behind you, and the eyes already moved on, hunting for the next gap. The raise you once prayed for is the same raise you quietly resent by summer. One photo of somebody else's completely ordinary afternoon can undo a whole month of your own quiet contentment. That's the complaint reflex, and it'll follow you into every good day you're ever given for the rest of your life, if you let it. Here's something I've come to believe, after a lot of years watching my own heart do exactly this. There are two ledgers being kept on your life, two books side by side. In the first one, every lack gets written down, everything you don't have, everything that slipped through your fingers, everyone who got handed more. And in the second, every gift gets written, every breath, every mouthful, every face that stayed. It's the same day, the same life, just two different books. And you only ever read the one. And here's the thing, there's a single line, one sentence, older than you, older than your grandfather's grandfather, that quietly decides which of those two books grows heavier, which one fills up, and which one starves. I'll give it to you soon, word for word, I promise. But first, let me tell you about a man who read the wrong book his whole life, and only noticed right at the very end. Years ago, I walked a while beside a merchant. I'll just call him a merchant. What he actually bought and sold hardly matters now. By every measure a man can be measured by, he was full. He had a house with a courtyard, a fig tree standing in the middle of it, sons who'd come by on Fridays, bread that never once ran out. And yet, every single time we spoke, he was counting some hole. The neighbor's roof stood a little higher than his, the caravan he'd missed by 2 days, the one deal that had slipped into another man's hands. See, he held his blessings the way you'd hold water, loosely, carelessly, already forgetting he had them. But every loss, he held those the way you hold a stone, tight, named, polished, smooth from how often he'd take it out just to look at it. He could tell you, down to the coin, the price of everything he'd ever lost, and yet not the name of a single thing he still had. So I asked him once, just plainly, "Friend, are you a poor man?" And he laughed at me. "Of course not," he said. "Of course not." "Then why," I asked him, "do you speak like a poor man every single day of your life?" And he went quiet. He didn't have an answer for me, and I think it might have been the first time anyone had ever put the question to him, because he wasn't really reading his life at all. He was only ever reading the ledger of lack, and, like most of us, quietly calling that the truth. And here's the turn I really need you to catch, because everything rests on it. His complaint was never a fact. It was a lens. Same courtyard, same suns, same warm bread. Through one lens, that's a life overflowing. Through the other, it's a life full of holes. Nothing about the day had changed. Not one single thing. Only the book he'd chosen to open. And we tell ourselves, "Oh, I'm just being realistic." But complaint isn't realism. No, it's a lens we've worn so long that we've forgotten we can even take it off. And it's a clever lens because it dresses itself up as wisdom. The mind was built to scan for the gap, the missing wall, the coming winter, the danger out on the ridge. That scanning is exactly what kept our grandfathers alive. But turn it loose on a safe, gentle, ordinary day, And that very same instinct just quietly steals the day right out from under you. Complaint feels like clear sight. Honestly, it's very nearly the opposite. So here it is, the line I promised you, the one sentence that decides which of those books grows. It sits in the Quran, in Surah Ibrahim, the 14th chapter, the 7th verse. And it doesn't read like advice, this one. It reads like a law of the world, as fixed and as quiet as gravity. Your Lord proclaimed it himself. If you are grateful, I will surely increase you. But if you are ungrateful, indeed, my punishment is severe. Just sit with the shape of that promise for a second. It doesn't say, if you're grateful, you'll feel a little better about your situation. It says, I will increase you. Increase as in more. The word points outward, at your provision itself, at your REIS. Now, this one verse has been turned over and studied for centuries, and I won't pretend to hold everything that's been found inside it, but here's the part you can feel in your own chest by tonight. Gratitude is a valve. See, the grateful eye gets trained to notice what actually arrives, so more and more of your life becomes visible to you, and a gift you can finally see is a gift you can finally hold. The ungrateful eye gets trained to see only the gap, so the more you're handed, the more gaps you find. One posture opens you up toward increase. The other just seals you inside your own scarcity, no matter how full the room around you already is. And please don't rush past the harder half of that line. If you are ungrateful, it says, indeed, my punishment is severe. That severity is real. But notice where so much of it actually begins. It begins right here, in this life, as that hunger no amount of anything will ever quite fill. That's the valve closing. The ungrateful heart isn't only answered for later and somewhere else. It's answered now with a life that's full to the brim and still, somehow, feels completely empty. And there's no poverty on this whole earth quite like that one, to have been given so much and to just not be able to feel a single grain of it. So how do you actually turn the valve? Not with some grand, sweeping feeling gratitude. That stays vague, is weak. I'm thankful for everything, changes nothing at all, because the heart just can't hold everything. No, you turn the valve by naming one gift, called by its actual name. Not my health, that's too big, too smooth to get a grip on. Say instead, these two knees that carried me up the stairs today without my even asking. This water, cool and clean, that I didn't have to walk 5 miles to draw. This person, still breathing, in the next room. Name it small and name it specific. Because the ledger of gift only ever fills up in specifics, one clear, honest line at a time. And I already know the quiet little objection, because trust me, I've made it myself plenty of times. But I don't feel grateful. Good. You honestly don't have to. You're not waiting around on the feeling before you name the gift. You name the gift first, out loud, even on the days it feels like a bit of a lie, and the feeling comes walking up slowly behind it in its own time, whenever it's ready. But the naming isn't some reward for gratitude you already have. The naming is how gratitude actually gets grown from almost nothing in a heart that had forgotten how. So try this, just for tonight. Before you go to sleep, find 3, just 3. Say each one out loud by its plain name, and pause just long enough to actually mean it. 3 lines, written at last into the book you've never once read. Then do it again tomorrow, and again the morning after that. You're not lying to yourself here. The ledger of lack is still real. The bills sitting on the table are still real. You're simply, for the first time in a very long while, reading the other book too. So that merchant I told you about, the one who spoke like a poor man from inside a completely full house, near the end of his life, something in him softened, and I never did learn what did it. But he started, every so often, to name things, the weight of a grandson fallen asleep against his arm, the taste of the first fig of the season off his own tree. He never grew any richer, not by a single coin. And yet he grew fuller, as though the increase that verse had promised him had been sitting right there the whole time, waiting, not in his accounts, but in his ability to finally see what had already been his. He'd been rich for 40 years. He only became wealthy in the last few, when he finally learned how to read. So the next time you've had a good day and you feel your mind go slipping off to hunt for the one thing that's missing, just stop, because you know that reflex now. You know it isn't reading you the truth. It's only ever reading the one book. There are two ledgers being kept on your life, the lack and the gift, the same day, the same life. You spent years reading the one that only leaves you poor. So tonight, read just 3 lines of the other one. If you are grateful, he said, I will increase you. He said it plainly, just like a law, and all that's left now is for you to go and open the other book.